Peace and blessings, your brother, your friend, your dietitian back again for another installment. I want to talk briefly about yin and yang, east and west, north and south, water and fire, hot and cold, earth and the air, earth and breath, and talk about different energy, masculine and feminine energy. A lot of things have been happening recently. The secret is dealing with Baltimore riots, dealing with police brutality, dealing with media manipulation. A lot of things that have been happening recently. And just to start off, just to put it out there first, is that what you focus on grows. What you highlight becomes the high life. I guess you could say it becomes what's most important. So what you highlight becomes the high life. There are a billion stories going on the news. And if you really in the world, and if you really pay attention to the news, it always focuses on negative stories that really confuse the mind that's unattended, the mind that's not strong and focused. It pulls and yanks on your emotions. You see people crying, you see people getting murdered, you see people going through trauma, being dragged by trucks, and child molestation, rape, invading of homes, Grand Theft Auto. You just see nothing but negativity. That affects your emotions, that brings down your mental state and your ability to feel safe and happy and positive. It drains on you. It actually affects your glands and certain organs in the body that release negative hormones. So it's really affecting you. So when I say there are a billion things going on, I've been to places. Well, I'll say it this way. My mother passed away when I was 17 years old, and I remember that I thought the world would literally stop when my mother passed away. But it didn't stop. I was on Fairfax Avenue in Los Angeles, California, Pico and Fairfax. The 217 was still running. The buses were still going. People were running to get to class. People were trying to get to work. People were in the grocery store shopping. And I was confused because I wanted to yell, "My mother died. How are you guys all just walking around like nothing is happening?" The truth is that there's beauty always going on, harmonious things always going on. And then there's sadness, and there's carnage, and there's hatred going on. Nothing is purely love, and nothing is purely hate. And so there's a little bit of everything mixed in. But when you only focus in on black men being murdered, so-called black men being murdered, police brutality, it becomes the amplifying reality. It becomes the record that's constantly being played. There's people who've been getting killed in all over the world, in Palestine, in Papua New Guinea, in India, in Nepal, in China, in Japan. All lives are valuable. All lives matter. Black lives matter. Nepali lives matter. My life matters. Your life matters. Everybody's life matters. The issue is that when you focus in on one thing and make that your reality, it depresses you because you feel, I am the only victim. I am the one being destroyed in the world. When really, people are living and flourishing all around. Black men, black boys, black children, black people, they're flourishing all over. And then there's some that are suffering. But if you only focus in on the suffering, then it becomes your reality. So I just want to say that first. Second thing I want to say is that in terms of riots, and in terms of what needs to be done to uproot the cause, is that a lot of people, my brother came up with this phrase, is that the flower keeps their attention while the roots steal the world from underneath them. Steal their world from underneath them. The flower keeps their attention while the roots steals the world from underneath them. So the flower is the news media, always putting out messages, images of only people rioting, not showing people peacefully protesting, not showing people rollerblading and trying to keep the community together, not showing people dancing, not showing other races, because there's people from all nationalities, all caste, so-called caste, class, backgrounds, religions. They're all marching and saying, if a human being is killed, a United States citizen, an earthling, somebody of this planet, that's a problem. It doesn't matter if they're black, white, green, blue, gay, straight, tall, short. That's an issue. But they're not showing that in the media. They're only showing that one negative thing, and it drains you. It drains your energy. Another thing I want to say is that I think that the response was a proper response for people who peacefully protested, people who rioted, people who picketed, people who did everything they did. It was all appropriate. It was all necessary, because people respond based off of their psychological state. If they respond based off their spiritual state, they respond based on their emotional level and mental capacity. So if somebody is at that level and they respond that way, who are you to say that along their journey, along their path, they're wrong to respond that way? You should respond the way that you feel fit to respond. I wouldn't respond the way that the people responded in the streets. I will respond in what I'm doing now. I try and empower people, because I think prevention is the best cure. So I'm empowering myself. I'm a so-called young black man. I'll be identified as that, but I am improving myself, working to prevent myself from getting into situations like that, and I'm building with other people like myself of all races and backgrounds, but including people of the so-called black race, Moorish race, African American. You can use different terminologies, but that is the true prevention, is the true cure. So my idea is to go to the root. My idea is to go to critical education. My idea is to go to critical reflection and thinking. My idea is to go into the investments, economics, power. These things will prevent the other things from happening. But because somebody's at another state where they feel like they have to riot, I'm not going to say that that's wrong or incorrect for them, because that's where they're at. And it's caused attention in media, and it's necessary. Another thing I was reading recently about the situation that was interesting is that this reggae artist, her name is Janine or Janine or Janine. I don't know how to pronounce it actually, but it's JAH9, the number 9. And I think her real name is Janine. But she was basically saying we need more feminine energy. So if somebody comes with fire, you shouldn't come with more fire. You can't be fire with fire. You have to come with this fire. You have to come with water. And so if somebody comes with hate, you have to come with love. And so that's why I say that I personally wouldn't recommend rioting or advocate rioting, but I can't say that it's wrong because of their perspective. That's where they're coming from. They're in pain. They've seen their brothers and sisters slain by the police. They feel unwanted and unloved. They don't have support in the communities. They don't have teachers that care about them. They don't have community leaders that care about them. When you're in this kind of situation, and I've been in those environments because I come from similar background, I understand that. So I can't say that they're actually wrong for doing that. I just know that at my state, I don't agree with it and I wouldn't do it. But I can't say that it's incorrect for them. Another thing she was saying was that we need more feminine energy in the world. So as opposed to rioting and going out into mobs disorganized, we need to come together and heal as a community and become stronger in order to prevent things like that from happening. And I think that's the root. That's going towards the cause and not focusing on the effect. And that's what I try and do with myself. I try and build up myself and my brethren, people in my circle, in my family, to prevent us from going down roads where we have to be exploited, disrespected, dehumanized, disenfranchised, disempowered, all of these things, gentrified, whatever you want to call it, colonized and paralyzed. You strengthen the mind, the body, and the spirit and emotions and the psychology so that you don't find yourself in that situation. You don't find yourself able to be exploited, because you have to be oppressible in order to be oppressed. So the cure for me is to make it so that you're impregnable, make it so that as a community you're not an oppressible community. But it's more love, it's more peace. That's what we need in the world right now. But the brothers and the boys who are responding in Baltimore and all over the world, that's their response. What's yours? Your brother, your friend, your dietitian, back again for another installment. Inspirit Nutrition. Peace and blessings.